Today we're going to read chapter 4 to the rescue. But it didn't. The next day, just as Drake was swirling a solution in a flask, the phone rang. Doyle and Fossey, Drake answered. It's just terrible, said Nell. What is? It's just awful. Calm down, naturalist Nell, and tell me what the problem is. It's the road signs. The wind blew them down, and they got all wet. And then the cars ran over them, and no one slowed down, and dozens of frogs have died horrible deaths. Drake frowned. Once again, Nell was right. This was awful, just awful. What are we going to do? He asked. Call all our friends, replied Nell. Tell them to tune their radios to 98.4 FM at 10 a.m. Check. Click. Drake made dozens of phone calls. After all, they had lots of friends. Tune your radio to 98.4 FM, 10 a.m. sharp. Check, they answered. Click. Finally, at 10 o'clock, turned on the radio. The announcer was saying, and our guest today is Miss Nell Fossey, nature's naturalist. Now tell us, Miss Fossey, what brings you here today? Frogs. What about frogs? Allow me to explain, said Nell. And so she did. She explained about frogs. She explained her observations. She explained about the pond, the road, the signs, and of course the horrible, horrible deaths. And finally, if we want to save our frog population, we must build a culvert. A culvert? The announcer asked. That's right, a culvert. Dig a tunnel under the road and right out the other side. That way, the frogs can hop through the culvert and they won't have to cross the road. Said the announcer. That sounds expensive. Who's going to pay for this? That's why that's why I'm on the air. Listen up, Mossy Lake. Meet me at the town square at 12 noon tomorrow. We'll rally with signs and take donations. Together we can make a difference. Thank you, Miss Fossey, for this most delightful interview. My pleasure, she replied. This broadcast brought to you by Max Diner. In a hurry, zip on over to Max Diner, the place to squat and gobble, where the service is speedy and the slop ain't bad. Drake flicked off the radio. Great Scott! A culvert. It just might work. Nell was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. At 12 o'clock sharp, Drake met Nell in the town square. Unlike the day before, it was a bright, beautiful day with cotton ball clouds and plenty of sunshine. Already dozens of kids were with their parents. Save the frogs, the sign said. Save the tadpoles. Say yes to the environment. Nell put out a jar for money. The day wore on. Nell gave speeches. She showed charts and graphs. She pointed with her wooden pointer. More and more people gathered. More and more money filled the jar. And then the television news crews came. And the mayor. The mayor gave a speech in front of the cameras. Nell stood beside him. Just this morning, our little town of Mossy Lake was unaware of the problem faced by the leopard frog. Now, thanks to Miss Nell Fossey, Nell spoke into the microphone. Fossey, not Fousey. We can do something about it, the mayor declared. That's right, said Nell. Remember, together we can make a difference. One of the parents stepped forward. I'll help. I'm in the construction business. I'll donate my time for free. And I have a backhoe, someone else offered. It'll do the job in a jiffy. And I'll bring plenty of sandwiches for everyone, Mrs. Doyle volunteered. Now spoke into the microphone again. Don't forget the coffee. Decaf. Black. The townspeople burst into cheers. The mayor shook Nell's hand. Cameras flashed. Nell was on the evening news and on the front page of the morning paper, where the headline read, Nature's Naturalist Rallies Town. Frogs everywhere croaking with relief. Nell was a hero. A few days later, Drake, Nell, and Dr. Livingston were back at Frog Hollow. Again, Nell had her magnifying glass. She said. A frog hopped by. Follow that frog. Together, Drake and Nell followed the frog, with Dr. Livingstone close behind. The frog hopped over a log. It hopped around a rock. It hopped through the tall grass. It hopped and hopped and hopped. And then something wonderful happened. The frog hopped through the culvert and out the other side. Oh, whispered Drake. Beautiful, said Nell. Woof, said Dr. Livingstone. That evening, Drake wrote in his lab notebook, Nell, brilliant. Culvert, a success. Leopard frogs and future generations saved. Payment zero. Paid in full. And that is the end of chapter 4.